Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy. It's a pleasure to be out here in nature and greeting you. Bring this message of emancipation to you. This message that will set you free. Pointing you to look inwardly so that you'll be able to discover your identity. And when you discover your identity, you come to realize that your identity is basically your divinity. And when you discover your divinity, you come to understand why it is said that you must seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. So basically, you come to realize that when you seek to know who you are first and you discover exactly who you are, that you will discover the creator and you will discover the secret of creation, and you'll be able to create your reality consciously. That's the reason why I speak to you concerning how Abdullah taught Neville Goddard that God and man are one. And the only how he could have really get him to understand that God and man are one is when he had a strong desire to travel to Barbados without having any money, without being employed. Also, he was unemployed, and as he said before, that no one would even pay to go to see a dancer because everything was rather scarce, because it was a time of depression and it was around 1933. But here was a man who understood that God and man are one. Here was a man who would have discovered his true identity. Here is a man who would have known that the power within is his divinity. Here is a man who understood that God and life is the same, and life and God is the same. Here is a man who understands that you cannot separate God from life and life from God. Here is one who understands that everything that is said about God is also been said about a man. And everything also that have been said about the devil also has been said about a man. For example, okay, everything that religious people are blaming the devil for, they are things that have been done by men. And all of these things start from a thought. So my brother and my sisters, if I'm going to show you that God and man are one, I have to show you also that God and the devil is basically the same person. All it needs is a rearrangement of the mind. So you have to actually rearrange your mind. That's the reason why you are told to not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So here is your lower self and your higher self. So when you come to understand that, and you understand your oneness with the Creator, and you accept the fact that your thoughts is creating your reality, there and then you will be able to reach out to the rest of humanity, because you understand that everything that they do or every action has been stemmed from a thought. So every personality is because of one's mentality, and your personality will also create your reality. That's the reason why Abdullah also taught Neville that consciousness is the only reality. So you being conscious of being. But when you become conscious of who you are, there and then you can operate in infinite power. So there's an invisible you and a visible you. There's an outer you and an inner you. So the outer man is the expression of the inner man. That's the reason why, my brother and my sisters, you're told in Psalms 82 that you are God. Nevertheless, you shall die like a man. It is showing you that death is inevitable. You cannot escape it. It is part of the experience. It is a part of the dream. It is a part of life that we all must accept. We have to come to realize, even though we and the infinite are one, we have to understand that everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. And we have to understand that there is such a thing as energy transmutation. And life cannot die, but it can transmute. or you can have a metamorphosis. So basically, it is based on death is the expansion of life. So here, Abdullah was teaching Neville how to embrace himself and how to believe in himself and how to trust in himself and how to believe in the human imagination, because his imagination is God. Because if there's only one God and one creator, there only could be only one creative power. And the only creative power there is the power of imagining. So he taught him how to use his imagination to create his reality, to prove that God and man are one. Thus the reason why, my brothers and my sisters, this message of self-realization is reaching people all over the world, because all of humanity have one main question. The universal question of life is, who am I? And when the answer comes, it must be, I am. Which is to say, I am that I am. I am whatever I believe myself to be, for as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So my brother and my sister, when you come to realize that actually it is your thoughts that is creating your reality, you will come to realize that what is happening on the outside, or your environment, is a reflection of what is taking place in your inner environment. So you will come to understand that you have to balance your inner ecology so that you'll be able to balance everything else around you. You have to come to realize that there's a lot of polarity. You have to come to realize if there's light, there must be darkness. You have to understand these polar opposites and walk with them. So you have to, when you do that now, you understand your higher self and your lower self. So Neville now understood that he was walking with the lower self when he was thinking in terms of scarcity, when he was thinking in terms of lack, when all he could have seen is recession and believing all of the news of lack and scarcity. But here now, Abdullah, who was operating the higher self, who understood that God and man are one, was showing him how to prove that God and man are one, and prove that if he would believe in his higher self and trust his higher self, and which is God in man, and which is his imagination, and see things through his mind's eye, or through the eye of God, that they will come to fruition. And when they come to fruition, no one can argue with the evidence, because evidence don't lie. So my brothers and my sisters, when you get the results of using your own imagination, because you believe your imagination to be the creator, because you believe that God is life and life is God, and you believe in the life that is within you, you believe that this body is just a house. When you have that belief and you operate on it without doubt and without fear, then you will come to understand why Joshua 1:3 says, anywhere that the soul of your feet shall tread, there shall you be also. Thus the reason why Neville was sleeping in New York, but when he go to bed, he was falling asleep in his mother's home in Barbados in his imagination. And then it happened like that in this world, in the three-dimensional world, showing you that whatever you can accomplish in the fourth-dimensional world, that you would see it manifest in the three-dimensional world. So here we're trapped in time, space, and matter, and so on. But the invisible man, the within, can go anywhere. It can penetrate time, space, matter, everything. It's the infinite. And so we see all of these things that happen between Neville and Abdullah is a message to all of humanity. And all of Neville's lecture, they are all wrapped up and tied up with his experience with Abdullah. That's the reason why I'm just taking all of these things from this one experience. Plus there are other experiences that Neville shared that he had with Abdullah, and all of them is what bring all the messages together that Neville put in lectures and bring to all of humanity. That's the reason why at this moment in time, I'm bringing this message to you, pointing you to look inwardly, telling you to believe in yourself, to trust yourself, to call on self, and to always believe that God and man are one. And when you believe that God and man are one, you'll be able to fulfill the greatest command, to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and thy strength, and to love thy neighbor as thyself, because you discover yourself to be God, and you can love anyone, everyone, and then you will have no idol. You will have no other God. You wouldn't have a God in the sky. You wouldn't have a religious God believing that you have to be a part of religion. You'll be able to look within because you understand that God and man are one. So my brother, my sister, I believe everything I would have said here to you, that it makes sense to you and it's resonating with you. And if it's been resonating with you, I want to ask of you to subscribe or like or comment, or you can share this video. Also, I'm encouraging you to follow me on Instagram at Black Mad Guru, or you can check out my website. My website, blackmadguru at blackmadguru.com. Sorry, blackmadguru.com. I encourage you to check it out also. And let me say, this message that I bring to you, it is the single-eye message of self-realization, of which Matthew 6:22 tells you, if your eye be single, your whole body will be full of light. And when I had that experience where I burst my crown chakra, it reminds me always to put my hand on my crown chakra and give you the sign of the single eye, letting you know that when you have the experience, that you come to discover that it is the rising of the S-U-N in a S-O-N. And that is the dawning of a new day in your life. And that without the sun, there is no life and there is no light. And without the human imagination, there isn't anything made that was made. And that the sun parallels the human imagination, the human imagination parallels the sun. And we all been powered by the sun. Therefore, my encouragement to you is to always use your mind power, which is your solar power, your infinite power, your God power, to achieve your every desire. So with that, I want to say peace, love you all, I'm out.